Okay, so the last part, uh, almost we have covered a lot of things, but few things that are remaining that we will cover today. Okay, the things that we are going to cover today are, first of all, I will show you the GUI. Okay, so till now we have used the command line. Okay, so if somebody, if anybody likes to use the GUI, then I will show you the GUI here. Okay, and it will be like a revision also of whatever we have done in the last session. Then we are going to see tagging. Okay, the concept of tagging. Then in the next session we are going to see forking. Okay, and finally we are going to look at the way to use projects in GitHub. Okay, that will be our last topic, issues and projects in GitHub. So let us quickly begin. Okay, so I have already logged into my account, and uh, just before we begin, I have put up assignments of Git in Moodle. Okay, and there are going to be few more assignments before we finish the course. Now assignments will be useful to you if you solve it. Okay, but quiz is mandatory to complete the course. Okay, so now let us begin. So I have this repository from the last time that is called friend. Okay, and it doesn't matter where from where I've got this repository. If you have set for the last session, then you know basically this revision I uploaded into the Git, and then I cloned that same repo into friend. Okay, so that was what we have done. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to use the GUI part. Okay, so just right click on this, and instead of going into bash all the times, let us go to GUI. Okay, so once I do that, you can see something like this opens. Okay, so this is the GUI that of Git. Okay, so it is having the exactly same features that are there in through the command line. Okay, so almost everything is same. So let me just put this to the side and open this in, let's say, uh, let us open this in, let's say, Visual Studio Code. Okay, so I've opened the folder in Visual Studio Code, and I have opened GUI of Git over here. Okay, so now you can see there is nothing to commit, right? So let's take, are there any chats? Okay, so let's take, let's do any changes to any of the files. Okay, so let's say hello.txt I open, and just a minute. I will just, I've installed a plugin called GitLens. That's why these things are coming. Okay, so GitLens is a very nice plugin to add in Git Visual Studio Code, which will tell you that who has changed the file when. Okay, so it is because of that this is coming. So let me just disable it. Okay, so once that is done, now I have my file open. Now you can see the extra part that was there, it is not coming. Okay, so now let me just change something. Okay, so I've added yes to this. Now what I have to do over in the Git, normally what I do is in the command line, I do git status. At that time, I will see that there is something changed, right? And then I will do something called as git add and then git commit, right? The same thing we have to do over here. We have to click rescan button. So that will scan if there is any changes in the, this is like git status only. Okay, so this is telling you that hello file has changed. And the beautiful part about GUI is it also telling you that what was previously there in the file and what has changed now. Okay, and once you are okay with whatever is done, you can click on stage changed. Okay, So changed file, you're going to stage it, and you can see from unstaged it came to staged. Okay, so now once that is done, you have to write a commit message over here. Okay, so some changes added. Okay, so I've added a commit message over here, and then I can click on commit, and that's it. You are done with the committing to the repository. Right now, let us see how to uh, push this to a remote repository. Right, so let's go and first create a new repository. Okay, so let me call it as WDL example 1. Okay, so I've created this repository. It's an empty repository. I'm not adding anything, and it is public. Okay, so create repository. So once I get this, then you can see these are the steps if you're using command line. Okay, but if you're not using command line, and if you're using GUI, then how to do it? Okay, so you can see the remote menu over here. You just click over there and check if there is anything right now. Okay, so if you remember in the previous session, we had cloned this, right? So that is basically means there is something, we have taken it from some source, right? So that's why the remote is already there. Okay, so you can remove the remote from here. Now if you check in the remote, there is nothing, right? So now I can add a new remote repository by clicking on to add. Okay, and you can give it any name. Let's give it a name called origin. Okay, because that is the standard way of doing it. So I'm just taking this name. You can put it anything like, okay, further you can write it GitHub also. Okay, so anything will do. Let's call it GitHub. Okay, and then this is the GitHub, your repository URL. Okay, so copy this and paste it in the location part. Okay, and further action, I'm not going to do anything. So do nothing else now and click on add. Okay, so once that is done, your remote repository is added. So the next part is, now when you do it, you can see here also it is saying that you should push your contents to the remote repository, right? So all you have to do is press this button from here. Okay, so click on this. It will ask you which branch you want to push, right? So right now it is saying it is in branch hotfix 2, right? So I don't want that. What I want is, I want to push the master branch. So how to change the branch from the GUI? We know how to change it from command line, right? So for that, if you want to change the branch from GUI, you can see from here also it is saying current branch is hotfix 2. So you can click on branch and click on checkout. Okay, basically these are the same commands that we have seen through the command line. Okay, only it is giving you GUI version of the same things. Okay, now just click on checkout and you can see everything. Now the current branch is master. Now you can click on push button. It will ask you which branch you want to push, and you can say push. Okay, so once you do push, it will upload your contents to the server and it says success. Now if I refresh, you can see my repository is back online. Okay, so all the code, all the data is there, right? Another very important feature of GUI is, if you click on repository and if you can visualize the master's history. Okay, so if you click on this, you can see how the master has progressed. Okay, and in fact, if I just close this and if I do visualize all branch history, okay, so you can see how the changes. So this is from where you have started, first commit, then you did second commit, and after that you branched to the third commit and the add to second. Okay, so this was a branch that we created, if you remember. Okay, and then later on we merged them together. Okay, after doing some commits, we merged, and then there are certain commits we use the Binod account to add some files. Okay, and then I created a hotfix merge We can see all these history that you can see visually. Okay, the same thing we used to see using git log graph, the same thing we can see from here also. Okay, so that is the advantage of using uh, this thing, git GUI. Okay, any doubts still here? Any doubts? Okay, so let me just now quickly open git bash again. So okay, so let me just add git log, and you can see the what are the different uh, yes, Shaista, bash and GUI are exactly the same. In fact, under the hood the GUI is running the same commands. Okay, but I have already explained you that why you should use command line. Okay, at least if you do not want to use it is fine, but at least you should know the commands. The reason is, I will just show you the reason, because I know many of you must be thinking why we should learn. So let me just open my server. Okay, okay, this is our college server. So you can see how your server looks like. Okay, so it is usually accessed using a software called putty. Okay, so now in this case, do you think you can run a GUI over here? Okay, so if you want to do anything over here, you have to run git commands only. Okay, so that's why it is very mandatory whenever you are working on a server, you have to know the git commands, otherwise it will not, you cannot do anything. Okay, so that's why every developer, even though he or she may not like it, they have to learn the git, because once you learn GUI, then there is no way you will try to learn the commands. Okay, so that's why I always start with the commands and then I show you the GUI. And in fact, if you look at the Visual Studio Code, okay, let me just show you what I mean. Okay, so let me just change here. Okay, so I've changed the file here. Okay, the same repository, and you can see that this particular part over here, that is there already in Visual Studio Code. You do not even have to use GUI of git. Okay, so you can click on this and it shows you that what files have changed. Okay, so you can directly do this from here also. Okay, so here you can see you can open the file and you can discard the changes, or you can stage the changes. Okay, so if I click on this, it stages the changes. Now it is saying these are the changes that are staged, and here you can open the file and here you can unstage. Okay, now finally, if everything is done, you can click on this button to commit. Okay, if I click on this, you can see it is asking for a commit message. Another message, and that's it, it is committed. Okay, so now you can see I don't have to actually go to this git GUI also. Okay, and not even that, I do not even have to go to git bash also. In fact, in Visual Studio Code, if you press control tilde symbol, okay, so control tilde, you can see the terminal opens at the bottom. Okay, so you can write git log here only. Okay, it's the same thing that you are getting over here. Okay, so you don't actually have to go out of Visual Studio Code also, you can do everything from here. Okay, so all these things you will learn as and when you start developing, and you will get used to it. In fact, I never use the git bash. I all Once I open my Visual Studio Code, I don't switch to anything else unless I want to check the browser for something. Okay, so otherwise I am always on this particular software only. Okay, so everything is there inside this. And also, as I showed you, the extension called git lens, if you add that, then it takes it completely in a different uh, it makes it much more interactive. You can see just by clicking on the line, it is telling me that what was the changes made, and what all things has been done on this particular line, who did it, everything. Okay, so if multiple people are working, all the even the name comes up over here, who has added this line, okay, from which commit this line is coming, everything. Okay, so that is the advantage of adding this plugin git lens. So I usually add it just to show you guys. That's why I've disabled it for a time being. Okay, so now let's go back to our git bash. Let me just minimize this. Okay, so now let's go back. Okay, so let me just clear it. Now we are going to see a new concept, that is tagging. Okay, so it's very important as far as software development is considered. Okay, okay, very good. Who is this? Khan Fazal. You can actually go through the software once. I will just show you how to branch. Okay, so Khan Fazal is asking how to branch in GUI. You can see this. Okay, click on branch and click on create and give it a name. Okay, so let me call this hotfix 3. Okay, and that's it. Your branch is done. And in fact, when I created the branch, you can see this was checked. Okay, so when you check this, it actually runs two commands at the same time. It is first creating the branch, and then it is also checking out to that particular branch. Okay, so that's why right now, if you see, it is currently in hotfix 3 branch. Okay, now if I want to change the branch, then you just have to go to branch and check out, and now you can select master, click checkout. That's it. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, so let's come back and let me just do git status once more. Okay, so everything is clean. So now we will learn what is tagging. Okay, so tagging is basically when you read a book, and let's say it's a very big book, and you keep on reading it, and at the end, at night, you go to sleep. Okay, now before you go to sleep, you try to remember the last page number that you were reading. Okay, so that you can uh, get up in the morning and start again, right? So let's say 563 is the page number that you are currently on. Okay, so then you slept, and in the morning you forgot at what is the number of page number you were on, right? So that is a problem with these numbers. Okay, so page numbers, maybe you may be remembering it, and let's say you opened the book after a week. I don't think there is any chance you will remember what was the page number last you read, right? So that is where tagging comes into picture. Okay, it is exactly like the way you tag your book. Okay, so you have a paper slip, let's say a colored paper, which you place it in between wherever you have read it in the last. Okay, so that way you don't have to remember anything. Okay, and you can just close the book, and whenever you want to read again, you just pull out that open the book from that tag. Okay, so that is what this tagging does. Okay, so now basically here the page numbers is basically the commit ID. Okay, now you know how the commit ID looks. Okay, I will just show you how the commit ID looks. This is the commit ID. Okay, do you think you can remember this? It is very difficult, right? So that's why instead of remembering this, what we do is we put a tag at that particular place and remember that tag instead of remembering the commit ID. Okay, so that is basically the use of tagging. Okay, so let's clear it once again. Okay, so now I am ready to do tagging. Okay, now tag is basically just a name. You can put it anything, but developers, whenever they do tagging, they do it in a very special way, and I hope you must have seen this. Okay, so the command is git tag. Just if you write git tag and enter, you will see how many tags are there currently. Okay, so right now we have not put any tag, so there is nothing. Okay, now if you want to add a tag, you just do git tag, and after that you write your tag. Okay, so now here you can add anything, but as a standard, what we normally do is we put a V. Now this V is standing for version. Okay, now this V is not mandatory. Some developers put and some do not. Okay, so I put it, so that's why I'm putting V. And then there is basically 3 numbers separated by dots. Okay, the 3 numbers are: first is the major release, second is the minor release, and the third is basically hotfix. Okay, hotfix or any other, you know, uh, other releases. Okay, so let's say our we want to release our first version of our software, so our version number will be 1.0.0.0. Okay, so if we are ready, if I press enter, you can see the git it has been tagged. And now if I run only git tag, you can see there is one tag which is at this particular location. Okay, now the next thing is let's say I want to do some more changes. Okay, so let's create a file. Touch, let's say I create sample.php. Then once I created a file, actually I'm all these things that I'm doing, creating a file, all this is just for a sample. Okay, so actually you will be writing a lot of code before committing. Okay, now just to show you, I'm just creating a file, and in fact I'm not putting anything inside it also. Okay, so just for a sample, I'm just for testing, I'm just creating a file. Then I'm going to do git status. You can see there is one untracked file. I will do git add, then git commit -m, new sample file added. Okay, and my commit is done. Now if I do git log, git log, git all, and let's say do one line. Okay, so if I press enter, you can see what all things we have done. And the best part is it now shows the tag also. Okay, so now it shows that at this particular step, that is at another message, we have added a tag called version 1.0.0. Okay, so in this way, you normally when we want to check out, okay, so we either do checkout using using the name of the branch or using the commit ID. And now you can use the tag also to check out. Okay, so that is one advantage of using. So you don't have to remember, you don't have to run git log and find out what was the commit ID of this particular commit. And you can directly, instead of doing that, you know that this is my version, this is my first version, so you can directly run this git checkout space this particular tag. Okay, tag name. So now once this is done, let's add one more tag. Okay, now currently I am at this particular place. You can see headmaster. So here right now I am at here. Okay, so let's add a tag over here also. Okay, so now to add a tag, let us just run and see. There is one tag right now. Let's add another tag. Okay, so my next tag will be version 1.0.1. Okay, so as soon as uh, you update your software, you can tag it, provided, see, now the one more question many of the times I get is, when should I tag? Okay, so basically you it is not like that every time you commit you do a tag. It is completely wrong. Okay, so you tag when you think that your software is ready. Okay, so let's suppose I'm working on some, let's say our college, some college software, let's say placement software. Okay, so once all the modules are ready, everything is ready, I will create a tag. Okay, well, I will create a tag, I will let the users use it. Obviously it is the first release, so there will be a lot of bugs, there will be a lot of issues. So as and when issues come in, I will update my code, and after all the current issues are resolved, I will create another tag. Okay, so it will be version 1.0.2. so like that, version 1.0.3, like that, this will keep on increasing. And now you may ask, when will the other parts, that means how when will 1.1.1 will be released? Okay, so that depends when you are adding some new features to the system. Now this tagging part is completely your choice. Okay, nobody is there to tell you that you cannot do this or you cannot do that. It is completely your choice. So you can let's suppose in the placement module you have added some AI feature. Okay, so that is completely new feature that was not there. So immediately what you can do is you can add another tag. Okay, saying that now it is a minor release, new minor release, that is version 1.1.0. Okay, that means the center part changes. Okay, now let's suppose now when does the first part change? That is this part. Okay, so when does this part change? Now this part changes when there is a major release. Okay, so the major release is when there can be chances that there is a breaking change. Breaking change means your old software is not compatible with the new software. Okay, this happens many of the times. In fact, if you have followed other softwares like Node or PHP or Laravel, PHP started with PHP 5, then right now it is PHP 7. Okay, so these versions are breaking versions. Okay, so there are breaking changes in these versions. That means many of the functions that were there in the previous versions, they may not work in the current version. Okay, reason being, there obviously there is a simple reason. There was some security issues in those functions. So what the developer did, they completely removed that functions and replaced it with a new function. Okay, that way, in that case, you what you do is you increase this to version 2. Okay, so that tells the users of your software that something major has changed. Okay, so you have to you are basically telling the users that you're just warning them that something major has happened. Okay, okay, fine. So right now I am tagging it as version 1.0.1. Okay, let's press enter. Let's run git tag again. You can see now I have two tags. Okay, version 1.0.0 and version 1.0.1. Okay, uh, so now if I run git log one line, you can see now I have two tags. The first tag is at this commit, the second tag is at this commit. Okay, so now everything is perfect. Now if I let me do git push. Let's first do git status and check everything is clean. Now let's do git push. Okay, okay, so okay, so let me we have changed the name to from origin to GitHub. So let's add that now. Okay, so git remote GitHub. Okay, so if it is origin, then you don't have to specify the name of the server. But since we when we use GUI, we change the name of the uh, remote source. That's why now we have to add the remote source name also. oh sorry, git push GitHub, git push GitHub, and also the name of the branch. Okay, so git push GitHub and the name of the branch was master. Okay, so now you can see it is uploaded. Let's come over here and click on refresh, and you can see the sample.php file is there. Okay, but one thing to note, look at the tags. There are no tags. Why? Because we have created 2 tags, but it is not coming over here. Okay, so the reason is the tags are not pushed automatically. The tags, you have to push it manually. Okay, so you just have to run this command again with this flag. Okay, so if you run this, then the tags are also copied. Okay, so let's wait for the tags to be copied. You can see now 2 tags are copied. Now if I refresh and see, now we have 2 new tags. Okay, you can see now the advantage is now the best part of tagging is from the side of GitHub is you can download the once you tag it, you can see there is the zip file created for those particular commits. Okay, so this is how you you release the softwares to your users. Okay, so you can see this is in this way the users can come and download your package or your software directly from clicking this link. Okay, there is another thing called as releases. If you want to create a release, it is actually the same thing, but it is like has a little more features. I will just show you by creating a release. Okay, so let's create a release, draft a new release, and let's give a tag number, version 1.0.3. Okay, no, I think it's 3, it should be. Okay, so my first release of the software. Okay, and here the advantage is you can put up the message of what all things you want to show the users, that what has changed, what code base you have changed, what files you have changed, or what are the major fixes, what are the features you have added. So all these things you can add it over here. Okay, so I have added some contents over here. Okay, now why is releases so important? Okay, now in usual scenario, releases will not be that important, because let's say for example you are creating a website. Okay, and you are using Git for storing your website, then releases will not make any difference. Okay, but let's suppose you are creating an Android app, or you are creating a what do you say, Java app, Java program, or you are making an app for your Windows platform or Mac platform. Okay, so in all these cases you have to compile your code. Okay, so your code is not important for the end users. Okay, so for the users, they will like to have the compiled version, that is the exe that you download. Okay, so just imagine you download a Chrome in the source code format. Okay, so that is, let's say it is created in C, so you download the C file. What is the use of that to a normal user? Okay, for a developer, yes, it will be useful, but for a normal user it will be useless, right? For the normal user, you have to provide the compiled version of your code. Okay, now to provide that, you use releases. Okay, so now you can see, once you do all these things, this is the place where you upload your binaries. Okay, so now let's suppose let me take any software. uh, uh, do I have a small software? Let me go to my softwares folder, and let's take this. Okay, let's take putty. It is only 484 KB. Okay. So let's suppose I have developed putty and this is the compiled version of my software. Okay. So I will just take this and put it over here. Okay. So now you can see the putty file is uploaded. Okay. So I can rename it as putty version 1. Okay. And my this thing is released. My software is released. So now you can see in my software, I have the name of the release, then the features that were added. And now in the assets, you can download my software. Okay. And also if you want, you can download the source code also, provided this was a open source code base. That's why you can download the code. Okay. Now to download the code, you have two different options. Okay. Now usually the second one is used in Linux. So you can download the zip file if you are on Windows. Okay. So this is what releases and tags are. Okay. Any doubts still here? So we have finished the first part. Now we are going to see something for collaboration part.